Hello everyone, it's time for another EU news update, and we have a whole lot to talk about. It's been quite a big month in terms of news so far. As always, for any merchandise that I mention in this video, there will be links in the description to either buy or pre-order them. For anything you get off Amazon, be sure to go to smile.amazon.com to have a portion of what you spend, at no additional cost to you, go towards the Twin Suns Foundation, a charity dedicated to donating Star Wars books to schools and hospitals. Thank you. First off, some really sad news. Star Wars author Greg Bear, who wrote the novel Rogue Planet, passed away on November 19th. He suffered a massive stroke that would have limited his cognitive and communicative abilities, even if he was able to regain consciousness. His wife Astrid made the impossibly difficult decision to remove his life support, but not before giving friends and family one last chance to say goodbye to him. Many people have expressed their condolences online already. Greg Bear was a very well-known sci-fi author, who besides work on Star Wars, also wrote books for Halo and Star Trek. Rest in peace, Greg Bear. You will be missed by all your fans and your loved ones. Wave 5 of the Essential Legends collection was released earlier this month. It includes the novels Revan, Deceived, and the Bacta War, which all have been printed with new covers. Similar to previous waves, the unabridged audiobook for the Bacta War has been released for the very first time. Also in regards to Wave 6 of the Essential Legends collection, we did know which titles were going to be released due to a leak back in August. But now, the new covers of Wave 6 have been revealed. As a reminder, this wave will consist of Yoda Dark Rendezvous, Republic Commando Hard Contact, and Dawn of the Jedi. These books will come out in May 2023, and if this wave follows the pattern of previous Essential Legends titles, either Republic Commando or Yoda Dark Rendezvous are likely to receive an unabridged audiobook for the first time. Since publishers are putting a lot of resources into these Essential Legends collection lines with new covers and new audiobooks, I hope they continue to sell well, and I hope that sends a strong message to Lucasfilm that we want brand new Legend stories. And if they ever do release them, I'm guessing it'll probably be in this format. Speaking of new Legend stories, well, this isn't quite a new story, but perhaps newly released would be a better term. The late Tom Veitch's cancelled novella from the 90s, Lightsider, takes place between Dark Empire 1 and 2, and tells the story of how Luke Skywalker converted Cam Solusar from the dark side through a Jedi game called Lightsider. For some reason, the novella is now spreading across the web like crazy, and is very easy to find to those of you who want to search for it. The cancellation due to contractual disagreements left a bitter taste in Tom Veitch's mouth, and he chose not to release it, but still kept a copy to himself. One of Veitch's people over the past few years has shared Lightsider with a few privileged EU fans, but now in November 2022, the cat is fully out of the bag, and I can still hardly believe that it's finally happened after 30 years. Better late than never, I suppose. And just think, there are still other cancelled EU projects that authors may or may not still be holding on to, and time will tell if those ever see the light of day. In international news, Italy has received the Classic Daily Newspaper Strips Volume 3, featuring 9 complete comic stories, written by Archie Goodwin and illustrated by Al Williamson between 1982 and 1984. This collection was released on November 17th. On November 16th, France received the New Republic Volume 1, which featured Mara Jade by the Emperor's Hand, Star Wars Tales, Shadows of the Empire Evolution, The Jabba Tape, and Boba Fett Twin Engines of Destruction. Not a massive tidal wave of international comic releases this month, but still 2 very solid books. In not quite as eventful news, I was flipping through the pages of the newest issue of Star Wars Insider when I read this. Star Wars Revan resurfaces a tale from the Star Wars Legends continuity. Continuity. You know, many EU detractors like to pretend that the EU was a jumbled mess of stories that never really connected with each other, and that it was never canon, and they certainly don't believe that it's its own separate timeline. However, as I and numerous other EU fans have been saying for years, Legends is one possible continuity of Star Wars, the same as Disney canon. They really don't want to admit that, because it would be recognizing its validity in the franchise. But time and again, quotes from Lucasfilm employees and official sources accurately reference Legends as a continuity. Again, this is minor news, but any new quotes disproving EU haters is always worth a quick mention. on Christopher Nelson's YouTube channel. He and Dylan are going over the history of the EU movement since it began in 2014. A lot has happened over the years, and watching these videos is a trip down memory lane for me, and probably for others that have been around the EU community for any number of years. For anyone unfamiliar with our movement, these chronicle our whole story quite well. I find them interesting, and I highly recommend you check them out. Speaking of EU fans, there's a group called the Legends Consortium, which is forming a Star Wars Legends convention in Burbank, California in 2023. While I've heard this idea kicked around in the past a few times, I always took a "I'll believe it when I see it" stance on these things, especially with how many horror stories there are of attempted fan conventions in the past. But to these guys' credit, they really seem like they know what they're doing, and they already have a few big names attached to it. I'm excited to see what all they have to come up with, and I wish them nothing but the best. On Twitter, EU contributors Jason Fry and Pablo Hidalgo mentioned that if they were in charge, they would have probably not gone back 25,000 years in the Star Wars timeline, because for them, that's too far back, and they would have preferred 5,000 years back instead. Apparently, Jason tried and failed to make Disney canon only go back 5,000 years. I'm guessing because of Obi-Wan's line in A New Hope about how the Jedi Order went back about 1,000 generations, or about 25,000 years. I find it a little weird that Jason Fry, of all people, is saying this, considering he wrote The Essential Guide to Warfare and The Essential Atlas. His work specifically in the EU actually helped convince me that going back 25,000 years is a good idea. And to their credit, they didn't seem too bothered one way or the other, and they were just sharing their personal opinions on the matter, which is fine. In action figure news, we've got some truly amazing reveals. At a convention, Hasbro unveiled new Black Series figures based on the expanded universe. Darth Malak and Bastila Shan from Knights of the Old Republic, and also Mara freaking Jade. And though it's a lovely surprise, I sorta maybe expected to get Darth Malak and Bastila figures due to their other Coder characters and merchandise that have been coming out in GameStop's Gaming Greats line. But Mara Jade? It just brings me back to the EU movement trying as hard as they possibly could to even get one new figure based on the expanded universe about 6 or 7 years ago. But now we are absolutely spoiled compared to back then. Now they're just giving them to us. And they look so amazing. These figures will launch early next year. In other action figure news, Fixer is currently available at GameStop.com. Mine came in the mail the other day, so that's pretty cool. And there are going to be even more figures for the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. The Carbonized TIE Fighter pilot and Emperor's Royal Guard are now available for pre-order, as well as a Black Series Gamorrean Guard. And though it's technically not part of the EU, Gentle Giant is releasing a mini-bust of the Starkiller hero based on Ralph McQuarrie's concept art, depicting the original female appearance of the Starkiller hero holding a lightsaber in one hand and a blaster in the other. Standing approximately 6 inches tall and limited to only 750 pieces. It comes with a numbered certificate of authenticity packaged in a full-color box. Pre-orders begin on Monday, November 28th. In SWTOR news, they announced what to look forward to with Game Update 7.2. We got introduced to the new planet Ranuk, and saw a teaser of the story update, Showdown on Ranuk. Lead writer Caitlin Sullivan Kelly presented the Ranuk Daily Area story, including new characters Lane Vizsla and Kur Harangir. She also gave an overview of the new reputation track and rewards players can obtain from it. Lead game producer Eric Musco and community manager Jackie Coe talked about the updates that are coming to PvP, such as changes to PvP queues, removing the distinction between unranked and ranked modes, the PvP reward track, rewards, and the new Onderon Palladio Ruins map. Game Update 7.2 will also have UI UX updates, such as a colorblind mode, improved maps, updated tooltips, a new welcome window, /top utility bar, and a customizable utility bar. Players got a sneak peek of 7.2 cartel market items, with art monetization director Bradley Lewis. Among the new items, players will be able to purchase the Master Or's lightsaber, the ceremonial Beskad blade, the Rakan's Vibro axe, and items inspired by the Book of Boba Fett, such as the Pike Syndicate's armor set. They've also announced the return of the Life Day event, with new snow globes themed around the R4 anomaly, Manan, Ranuk, and Alam. Get ready to throw snowballs and hug Wookiees beginning with 7.2's launch. Game Update 7.2 Showdown on Ranuk launches free to all subscribers in winter. To get people ready for the update, there's a new short story on the Old Republic's website. Though they're never very long, these short stories are the only source of new written material within the Legends universe that we have to consistently look forward to. And even though they're short, it's nice to at least have something. This one features the fan favorite Mandalorian, Shae Vizsla. And finally, in non-EU news, Disney stock has not been doing great lately. And I'm not an economics expert by any means, and can only offer personal anecdotes on why they may not be doing so well. Apart from anything related to the EU or the original continuity of Star Wars, I personally am boycotting all Disney products and merchandise, including anything from their subsidiaries and anything related to Star Wars content that Disney Lucasfilm currently considers canon. If they want to see any more money from me at least, then I once again recommend that they continue the Legends universe. And then maybe us EU fans will come down and save their entire company. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below.